Hello grade 9 students at GIS. This is the last video of the week just to show you the investigation that you are going to be doing, and I'm going to keep this one deliberately vague. Okay, so this is about you being inquirers, being able to conduct a bit of a scientific investigation yourself using some of the skills that you have built up over this week. So I want you to answer 2 questions this week, okay, and they're all about the length of a year on Earth. My assumption is that you understand that a year is 365 days and that happens when the Earth takes one complete rotation around the sun and comes back to its starting place. Okay, so my 2 questions are: what happens to the length of that year if the mass of the sun changes, or the star that's at the center of the orbit, or what happens if the mass of the Earth changes? Okay, so I think that if you want to have a play with the model, do have a look at that, but I think this scale one is better. I'm just going to show you how you would take your measurements. Okay, down here there are some sliders where you can play with the mass of the star, which is our sun, or the mass of the planet, which is our Earth. Where the slider is at the default position, okay, that is 1 times the mass of our sun, or 1 times the mass of our Earth, okay, which is obviously just its mass. If you want to decrease the mass of the sun, you would move the slider to 0.5. If you want to increase the mass of the sun, you would increase it to 1.5. Okay, so when you're recording your independent variable here, you'd have a value of 0.5 for half the mass of the sun, and then instead of writing our sun, you would write 1. Okay, so the mass of the sun of our sun is 1 sun. Okay, and then you can take it to 1.5 times and 2 times. Okay, so how do you then measure how long a year is? Well, I found the easiest thing to do is to click on this part here and put a grid on the screen. Okay, you can see the sun is in the middle here, and the Earth is over here, kind of at the 3 o'clock position, if you imagine this being a clock. Okay, so what will happen once we press play is the planet is going to orbit around the sun, and when it's back to this position, I will pause it and I will count the number of days that it took. Okay, so I'm just going to start it off and you can see that it is counting. If you want to, you can click on this so you can see the path that it's taking as well. Okay, so there we go, it's orbiting around the planet. You could change the speed if you wanted to, and what I want is to make sure as soon as it comes back to that 3 o'clock position that I hit pause and I count the number of days that took. Okay, pause. Oh, I went a little bit too far. Okay, so here my data says 368 Earth days. I actually know it should be 365. Okay, so if you think that it's an anomalous result, you might want to take your measurement as well. You could probably go to slow motion when it's getting closer to your starting point, so you can take that measurement. Where are you going to record this? Well, you're going to go back to your original Excel document. You should now have the plant, you should have the colour of student, favourite colour of student, sorry, an extension task if you did it, your gravity lab, and then this one is going to be called your orbit lab. Okay, or let's call, yes, where we go, rename orbit lab. Okay, you have 2 questions that I want you to answer if you look back at the other slide on the PowerPoint. One about changing the mass of the sun, one about changing the mass of the Earth. You could fit both onto one sheet if you want to, or if you want to start another tab at the bottom to do one for the sun and one for the Earth, that's absolutely fine. Remember what we're expecting from these graphs. We want nice results tables with headings and units. Your graphs need to have a title, headings and units as well. One thing that might happen, if you change the mass of the sun or the mass of the Earth, you might find that something catastrophic happens, or you might find that Earth gets pinged off into space. Okay, if that happens, just don't record data. Okay, that's not a result, just don't record data for that. Only record data when it actually does a full orbit and you can record the number of days in that year. Okay, thank you.